just like, yeah!
Yeah!
Or like, nah.
Hi, teacher.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Tower of Babel Podcast. My name is Rocky.
And I'm Lauren.
And this is a podcast we're an English institute based in Cochabamba, Bolivia, and we use this podcast as a resource for our students to be able to hear native English speakers speak to each other rather than your typical teacher voice, a little bit slower. This is a little bit more casual American English. So let's get right into it. What is our cultural connection / dish connection for today?
So today, it's a really interesting topic. I've talked to some of my classes about it, and it's kind of what you do when you go into someone else's space, like when you enter someone else's house. So here in Bolivia, what do you do when you, what's the process of being invited to someone's house, and then what does that look like when you get there?
Well, there's different situations, I guess. Are we speaking as an adult, as a little kid? Are you over there as like a guest of the household, or are you there as a guest of a single friend?
I didn't think about that.
Because households here are very, very rarely are they one person or two people. Typically, it is a family, and that could include grandparents, that could be aunt and uncle, that could be cousins, but it's usually...
It's big, right?
Yeah, it's usually there's more than just 3 people living in a house. And so it depends. Are you thinking of it as a way of as a child or as an adult?
So first tell me your experience as a kid when you would go over to friends' houses and things like that, because I wasn't a kid here, but you were.
Well, there's a big cultural thing here in Bolivia is that often as a family, you will, within your own family unit, you will go to other people's houses, right?
Oh, okay.
But as somebody who isn't part of the family, a lot of times you are not invited to go see other people's houses because it's a very, very personal thing. And so I've been in a handful of my friends' houses, but some of my friends were Korean, and so obviously that's a different take.
Whole different thing.
But my Bolivian friends' houses that I've went into, it's, you walk in, it's normal. You have to kind of see whether or not the house is a shoes or not a shoes house, see if you're taking off your shoes or not. Usually at that point, if you're invited over to a house here in Bolivia, it's for maybe food, maybe if we're related to school activities, you might have to do some homework and stuff like that. But then usually it's kind of a planned event. Right? Because there's usually bigger families living in one house at the same time, you kind of have to let everybody know, hey, I have a person coming over.
Yeah, there's someone here,
Yeah. And then from there, it's, very normal. I don't know, you give me the contrast from the United States, because I feel like I didn't really get to see either of the areas.
I guess, because you weren't a kid in the U.S. And so in my experience, at least, I obviously didn't grow up in a big city, but in my experience with my friends and going over to their houses, the first time is always really awkward, naturally. But I was always kind of like a guest of the friend, and maybe their mom would be like, "Can I get you anything, sweetie?" But it depends on where you go. So when I went to my friend Cassie's house, her mom would serve us specific snacks. They were always healthy snacks at her house. And so that was a very I'm gonna wait until she serves me. But there were other houses where I would go over and visit, and my friend's parents were always like, "Okay, you guys can just grab whatever you want." Yeah. And my friend would go rifle through the pantry or the fridge, be like, "Do you want, I don't know, a cheese stick? Do you want a tortilla?"
Do you get cheese sticks in the pantry?
No, the fridge.
Okay, you said pantry.
The pantry or the fridge. That's crazy. No, do you want, I don't know, some trail mix? Do you want a cheese stick? So it depended. And then there were some houses, especially after being friends for a while, then it was help yourself. Yeah. And I feel that's something that's really jarring for a lot of Bolivians is I know when we've had people over to our house, it's you can just help yourself. Just grab whatever you want. They're like, "Thank you, I won't be doing that."
Yeah, because I feel in the U.S. a lot of times, from my limited experience that I've had of visiting other people, well, I visited a lot of people's houses, but it was never as a friend.
No, you were a guest, staying the night.
Yes, because of my parents,
exactly.
Right? And so with that, you get to see a lot of the dynamics between, okay, is this the type of family that the parents are very active in the decision-making of the children? Or is this a household where the family is allowing the children to make their own decisions?
Yeah.
I'm not saying which one is better or worse. There's definitely pros and cons to each one. But here in Bolivia, I feel like a lot more often you see families that are active, very active in the decision making of food.
Because food is such a big thing.
Yes.
So
And so
cultural.
if you're invited over to somebody's like house as a guest, like number one, that's a big honor
Yeah.
because they're letting you into your home. And it's in Bolivia here we have walls around all of the houses. In the United States, we do not have walls
No.
around the houses.
Maybe there's a fence, not always.
And so that creates different levels of privacy. The home is a very private area where it's like, okay, I live here, this is where I keep my personal belongings, this is where, like, it's a very safe space
Yeah.
and stuff like that. And then in the United States, it's still that.
Yeah.
But, like, the windows are open,
Right.
and so you can see into everybody's house at all times.
Right, which is so interesting because, like, thinking about, like, here, it's kind of more of, like, a sacred, like, this is my family space, right? Because if you think about it, it makes sense. It's not just, like, me and my parents and my brother. It's, like, my grandparents. And so if you bring someone to your house, it's a lot, especially if you live with your parents, which is common here until you get a little bit older.
Yeah.
It's not just like, oh, we're going to hang out at my place. Or like, I don't know, my mom's working downstairs, but we can hang out upstairs. It's like you have to meet the whole family. It's like a big step.
Yeah, like requires more respect and
Yeah.
reverence coming into a house here versus like if you go to like somebody's apartment in the US,
Right.
you're like I'm gonna trash this place.
Right? Well, and like I said, when I was growing up, it's like I would go over to a friend's house. I think of Brooklyn, right? I would go over, we would do homework or we would hang out or watch a movie or something. And her family is all like kind of transient, moving through, right? Her mom stops by. She's like, do you guys want some lemonade? I'm like, yeah, thanks so much. Her older sister walks by and is doing something, her brother. But it's all like her immediate family, right? And so I think who you live with has a big impact on that. Because if like, for example, this is a really common thing actually, is like, I remember in the US being like, hey, can you hang out? And someone's like, no, I have family in town.
Yeah,
Right?
that's huge.
Like you have family visiting, so it's like no one's coming to the house because my family is here. Because it's like, think about like dating. You don't skip straight to meeting cousins and grandparents and aunts and uncles, right? You hang out with that person first. And so even on a friendship scale, it's like, that's a big step to go into the place where like your grandmother lives there.
Yeah.
And like everyone in your family lives there. And obviously not all houses here are that like intergenerational, but a lot of them are.
Yeah, I'd say the majority are, which ends up looking like 40%.
So not the majority.
No, it's the majority. Are you ready? 40% are intergenerational homes, and then you probably have like 30% of these homes being like single family homes. One family is living in that home, and then you have like 20% of the homes that are like multi family homes. And so like you have like a lot of people
Right.
living in, and then you have like 10% the leftover, which is like one person living by themselves, which does not happen.
It's a big
hardly
anomaly,
ever.
right?
Yeah. Whereas in the U.S., you have way more people living by themselves.
And way, way, way less big family or multi-family.
No, I'd love to look that up between like average number of heads per household in Cochabamba versus in like Montana.
Yeah.
Because Montana, and by square footage.
Oh my
love to
gosh,
see
yeah.
that. Because I bet you.
You have a lot less people in a lot bigger houses.
Yeah.
Like more living space per person. And they're living by themselves
Yeah.
or with fewer people in the U.S.
Well, think about the house that we live in right now. It's a sizable house. And
Yeah.
It's close to the city. It's a very nice place. But how many people do we have living with us right now?
5. Counting you and I, there are 5 people in that house.
And we have room for a total of 7 because of the interns moving in and out.
Yeah.
We were going to have 7 people living in that house at one time. That house would be considered like we can really only have like the mom, a dad,
3 kids.
and 2 kids.
Well, I think the
I need my
garçonnière
study.
is like a study, or someone would have an office, right? Thinking, that's something so interesting. Like I think of my parents, right? Lots of people in the U.S. work from home, so they go, this is my office. I work in here, right? Some people even have both people working from home, so they have 2 spare bedrooms that are offices.
Yep.
Right? And a lot of times a bedroom is designated like this is the guest room.
Yeah. Oh
right?
yeah. Like no one lives in there.
No one lives there. That's the guest room.
Yeah. Like
For which gets used like twice a year.
twice a year max,
Right.
and then it usually ends up just harboring crap.
Like that's where you put stuff.
Yeah.
Right? Well, and I think about our house too, because like our house we have here, we have space theoretically for more than 7 because you could fit another person in each of those rooms, right? And like our intern rooms, we have space for bunk beds and
Yeah.
things like that. But in the US, like we talked about Marcelo and his comedy in one of the past episodes. It's like, that's just house. That's just normal house, like not even at half capacity. There are 5 people in that house.
Yeah, and it's so funny because it's like, because he's talking about full house.
Yeah.
There's 5 people living in this absolute
massive mansion.
Like, that is huge.
Yeah.
And they're like, man, this is a very full house. Versus if that was a Latino household, it would just be called house.
They'd be like, where are all the people? There
Yeah.
are 5 people in that house.
If you watch Full House, like, the living room is empty.
Right.
Which is terrifying, because I come from a Mexican, like, my father is Mexican.
Yeah.
And so my grandma is Mexican, and we were over at her house. She had a husband.
Yes.
And her got divorced.
Uh-huh.
She had another husband. That husband died.
Okay.
Right. So she technically lives by herself.
Yes.
Right. She is the one person in that household. How many people live in that household?
I don't know. I've never been there.
Are you ready? It's her, her daughter, her daughter's husband. Their 3 kids. I think they have 4 kids now. And then, like, whenever we would come over, there would be 5 of us coming in there.
So that's 12 people.
Yeah, to a 2-bedroom house.
Wow. I remember, it makes me think of, we just watched a movie, and it was One Battle After Another, which I didn't finish it because I didn't really like it.
Yeah.
But they showed, like, this Mexican family, and I was like, that's so funny, there's a bed in the dining room.
Yeah.
And you were like, yeah, there's a bed in the dining room.
There's a bed in the kitchen. There's a bed everywhere.
I was like,
Everywhere
why is
there's
there
a
a bed there?
Open
it was
that
just
cupboard.
something so foreign to me.
Open the cupboard, there's a
There's
blanket
bed
and
in
a pillow in it. You kidding me?
Which is just so funny because it's something I never saw. Right?
Yeah,
Like,
that's so
myself and
wild.
all of my friends were very similar to, like, the way I grew up, which is, like it was me, my parents, and my brother in our house.
Holy cow, there's 4 of you.
Me, my parents, and my brother. And there was an extra room, which was the gym. There was the office, and there was a spare bedroom. Granted, we had a massive, like, that was super excessive for what we needed.
Yeah.
Don't have to get into all of, like, that. But it's just, like, that's so much space.
Yeah.
Right? There were 2 living rooms in that house. You remember that in Montana? That was a big house.
That was very nice.
Yeah.
Very
Well,
nice.
even like our house that on Jackson Street, the blue
Yeah.
house, right? That house, just you and I lived there, right?
Yeah.
2-bedroom. So it was us. We had our room and then another room, right? Just on the top floor is what I'm talking about.
Well, it's registered as a single-family home when we bought it. It had 4 bedrooms, 2
1
living
bathroom.
rooms, a kitchen,
And a bathroom.
1 bathroom, and then 2 just unfinished
rooms.
that we have since converted
Yeah.
into a kitchen
And a bathroom. So that it's a split level now. But
So now there's 2 kitchens,
2 bathrooms.
2 living rooms, 2 bathrooms,
And
4
4
bedrooms,
bedrooms.
and legally registered as a single-family home.
Yeah.
Because square footage-wise, it can't register as a multifamily.
Can it not?
No.
Oh.
It's a split-level apartment, but it's technically, if you were to sell it, it's a single-family home.
And it's so funny thinking about it because, like, I want to get back into, like, how you act when you go to someone's house because I
Yeah.
think that's super interesting.
Might be.
But it's really fascinating to me. I think about it, like, this is kind of off topic. I was talking to you about hair the other day, right? Like, my hair. I show my American friends, we, like, go on FaceTime. They go, wow, your hair is so long, right? Because by American standards, this is, like, medium to long hair,
That was long hair.
right?
In the U.S.
In the U.S., this is long hair. Before I came here, I had maybe seen one girl in my life who had hair, like, down to her butt. One in my whole life. And I was like, wow, she's like a fairy. Here, I see that every single day. Walking on the street on accident, I see, like, 3 girls with hair, like, down to their hips.
Yeah, 1 out of every 5.
I'd say so. Like, crazy.
Maybe it's a little excessive. Maybe 1 out of every 8.
I think at least 1 out of every 10.
Yeah.
Right? Thinking about just, like, classes and people you see walking on the street. Everyone just casually has the longest hair in existence.
Yeah.
And it's kind of what I thought about, like, in America, in the U.S., like, that's a full house. Our house is very full, right? Here, it's like, that's just a house, right? Here, my hair is just hair. In the U.S., it's like, wow, it's so long, right?
Well, those cultural differences are just so... Like, the longer that we live here, the more and more apparent that those cultural differences aren't just little things. They create huge divides culturally between it. We've talked
Yeah.
about this a lot.
Yeah.
Between the ideas of, like, because you were born and raised in the United States, because I was born and half of my life I've lived in the United States, right? Right now it's 42% of my life.
Did you calculate it?
It's around there.
Okay.
But 42% of my life I've lived in the United States. that culture is ingrained in us.
Yeah.
And living here, you don't just appropriate that culture.
What do you mean appropriate?
If the United States was culture number one for us, because
that's the first thing we
lived there,
experience, yeah.
right? That's culture number one. Coming to Bolivia, you'd think, oh, that's culture number two, right?
Right.
It's not. It's immediately culture number three.
Why?
In the when you have families who are traveling internationally as missionaries, they call them third culture kids.
Oh, it's the book your dad had you read, right?
Yep. Well, he asked me to read it. Never read it.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, Dad. Third culture kids, which are these kids who are, if we're talking about this situation, not American, not Bolivian.
Right.
You're just something else. You're
You're
a
in between.
mixture of the two.
Right, you're kind of floating. You don't belong tethered to either one of them.
And so then that creates this weird dynamic where we invite people over to our. How often do we have other people who don't live in our house at our house?
I mean, most of our friends live in our house right now.
Yeah,
but I mean, like once a week.
I would say more than that.
At least once a week because we have pickleball.
Yeah, easily once
Yeah.
a week. It's more like 2 or 3 times a week that we have people.
Yeah.
Within this last week, we had other people at our house 4 times.
Yeah. It was great.
4 out of the 7 days, right? And so that culture is a mixture of Bolivian and American and of the United States.
Yeah.
Right? Because in the United States, yes, it's supposed to be open home, people come over, that's fine. But you always have to have, like, in the United States, I feel like a lot of time, if you're going to invite somebody over, it's a very, like, let me be prepared.
Right. Like
Right?
everyone I know, like in the States, is like, even if you're not hosting like a party or something, you're cleaning before. You're like, okay, what snacks does anybody want? Like I've read some articles lately about like the casual hangout is kind of dead.
Yeah, you can't just, like, knock on somebody's door and come in anymore.
You can't just be like, hey, I want to do homework. Can we hang out at your house? Or like at my place? Do you want to come do homework together? Like when you're in college, that's super common. But when you have an actual house or an apartment, it's way less common. There's like an event to go over there for. You know, it's something
Yeah.
to prepare. We're hosting a dinner or we're having a movie night.
Yeah.
But it's very rarely just like we're hanging out in the same place.
Yeah, it's goal driven.
Yeah, yeah.
Whenever you go into somebody's house, it's because you have a specific purpose for being in there.
You're like, this is dinner. We're doing like a project to finish, right? Something together.
Versus here in Bolivia, where you don't go into people's homes as often, hardly ever,
Right.
unless you are family or you live in direct proximity. So, if you have like your barrio, your neighbors, those people, and you start to get to know them, then it's like, oh, okay, yeah, you live right there, you can come into my house. But then, because Bolivia is like such a big city, people don't really like there's no, I guess it's also goal driven, I would
Okay.
say, right? So it's for dinner, or
Right.
it's for games, or it's or something else like that. But if there's no goal, then it just doesn't really happen here.
That's a good point.
It's a more secluded, safe space because there's more things to do outside of the home
right.
here than in the United States. In the United States, it's almost the opposite.
Exactly.
There's more stuff to do in your house than there is to do outside of your house.
Right. And like obviously this varies city by city and like what kind of person you are and how old you are and things. But it makes me think of like the US has a big lack of third spaces. Meaning like, so first and second spaces are where you live and where you can spend money. And we don't really have other places where you can go to not spend money and hang out, right?
Dude, I don't know if like
Like
I can
here.
name one. Like they have like parks
But I mean-
sometimes.
When was the last time you went to a park in the United States? When we lived there. Like how often did you just go to a park?
Like when I was like an actual person there, like I had a jobs and stuff, never.
Right? And it's like I feel like it's not really common, or if you go to a park, it's like we're playing soccer. We're playing a game at the park or something. And that would happen very rarely. At least for us. And like where we live there weren't a lot of parks either.
Which is crazy because Montana is the area I think with some of the most parks in
Really?
like any other state.
Is it national parks? Is that what you're talking
Think about
about?
like Denver. Denver has one big park on the north side.
And it stinks. But like but here you have plazuelas. You have like even there are benches everywhere.
Everywhere.
You can sit and just hang out anywhere. Just walking from our house to here, there are like 3 parks.
Yeah.
I guess if you count Plazuela Cobija, that's over there.
Yeah.
Right? So there are big, like ample parks where you can like do stuff. Like people say, oh, we're gonna go, like I'm gonna eat lunch in the park, right? I could walk outside and eat lunch on the Prado, just like hanging out.
Outside exercise centers that are all over.
Super cool, right?
Yeah, just another activity to do that you don't necessarily need money for.
Exactly. And so like in the US, having a lack of those drives people to spend money somewhere, to like go to a cafe or a restaurant or a bar or whatever. Or it drives you into your own house. Right? Like you might go do a fun activity, but then like your house is where you're coming back to, right? Here I feel like because there's so much else to do outside, and because of like the culture of people are kind of hesitant, at least from what I've seen, about letting people into their house. I think I've only been into one Bolivian's house. And that was Richard's.
Oh.
Right? That lets people like, it's just more encouraging to go out and stuff. You know, you don't feel like forced into your house here because there are other places to go where you can still relax and there's no pressure to spend money.
Yeah, you know, free art galleries are very common here, or just very low cost activities here, which are very, very nice. There's a couple of museums and stuff like that. Obviously, cafes and stuff to sit down where you can have a low, like, just like drink a coffee or something like that. But in the United States, obviously because of the distance is one thing.
Yeah.
We already talked about travel.
I mean, you have to drive.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much anywhere you are, you're commuting.
Yeah.
Like, it's a good 15 minutes in your own personal car.
Right.
Because public transport just really doesn't exist outside of the biggest cities.
Right? And so that is another thing that we were kind of thinking about, or that I was kind of thinking about, is like, we were talking about, like, it has to be an event, right? Unless you live, like, so close to someone, like 2 blocks away, you're going to drive your car to go meet that person. So it's a whole event to, like, okay, do I have my wallet, my phone, whatever I need? Okay, I'm getting in my car. I drive to go meet that person. It's such an event. And I've seen a bunch of stuff online about, like, a lot of Americans dream about, like living next door to their friends, like the sitcoms you see, you know, like New Girl, like Friends, like all of this stuff, where I can just go over and knock on your door, right? Then people want to live close to people because it's such like an event, right? People have like so romanticized the idea of like, let's just hang out casually together. That doesn't have to be an idea, like a plan or something like that. But sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was going to ask, getting back to the house topic.
Yes.
In the United States, in general, do you think, what do you think the percentages are of just shoes on versus shoes off households? And what does that entail?
I don't, it's hard for me to say because I feel like all of the people I really know that we really hung out with in the States were shoes off. Right? That was a lot of shoes off people.
I think like 75% of homes in the U.S. are like, no, take your shoes off.
Take your shoes off. But it's so difficult because some people don't want you to take your shoes off. So they're like,
Ooh.
I don't know, if you get out of like a practice or something, like you come home from soccer practice to your friend's house, like it's weird to take off my shoes.
Just because you don't want them to be stinky, but that's your own thing. They immediately take off their shoes when you go into into their house.
Yeah.
I believe that the majority of I'd say 75% of homes are shoes off.
I think that's a good point because you always see pictures of like the pile of shoes by the door. Everyone takes their shoes off when they come in. Yeah.
Are you ready for this? Bolivia is not a immediately shoes off family household. When you go into a house,
which I've seen because we live with Bolivians, and I'm like, take off your shoes.
Shoes stay on until the room. Rooms are shoes off areas.
Like someone's bedroom or what? Which I guess that makes sense because like that's like your space. You know, there are like the stereotypes of Americans will like put their shoes on the couch or like lay on their bed with shoes on.
To be fair,
have you ever seen photos of that?
I have seen more Bolivians do that than
have
Americans.
You?
Yep.
It's crazy to me.
I know.
It's dirty to me. I'm trying not to make cultural prejudices. Don't put your shoes where you sit, where you lay. That's disgusting.
It's not cultural. It's to anybody. If you have shoes on and you stand on my couch or you rub your feet on my couch, I will freak out.
You lay down on my couch and your shoes are on it, we're gonna have a big problem.
Oh yeah.
It's dirty.
Yes.
It's so dirty. And like, I've seen pictures that are like on the internet or whatever, and it's someone like relaxing on a bed. They have shoes on. Take your shoes off.
Yeah.
You're on the bed.
Not allowed.
Like you can't even be relaxed. You have shoes on.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And we've also seen it because our Bolivian friends who live with us, we like came in after a rainstorm one time.
Yeah, they walked.
Everyone
right
walked, like, they, like, went straight to the kitchen.
I was about to throw hands.
Didn't, like, wipe their shoes, didn't, like, take them off. I was like,
Yeah.
you know.
But once again, that's a communal space.
Yeah.
That's everyone's accustomed here to, like, this is a common area.
Yeah.
Versus, okay, this is my area.
Right.
Where
And
in the U.S. it's very, this is my area.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
And I think that's a big factor of, like, because in the U.S. you live either individually or with very few people, so everything is, like, my area, right? Yeah. Here, like, at least in our house, we are all, like, there are 5 of us, and we're all very distinct, right? Mm-hmm. You and I have our space, Addison has her space. Everyone has their own space. Mm-hmm. So they see their room as their space, and the community, like, the living room and stuff, the entryway is, like, everyone's space. But in the U.S., if you live with, like, just you by yourself, or if you live with, like, your 3 family members, everywhere is your space.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you're like, this is either my space or it's like my direct family space. But if you live with, you know, your grandparents and cousins and several siblings and someone's kids, it's like this outside is nobody's and everyone's space, right? The room is the individual.
It's harder to have designated things when you live with more people, right? If it's just one family living together, like families, like, this is my spot on the couch. Yeah. Right? Like, that's your spot, this is my spot. Mm-hmm. But then if you have people constantly coming in and out and family visiting and people going there's really no space. You get comfortable where you can. Exactly. Right? And so it's not necessarily like this is mine versus this is ours. And that might even get into the capitalistic versus socialistic.
Whoa, didn't even think about
between
that.
the United States and here, because obviously
it gets into everything, yeah.
Yeah. Well, socialism is like, if you were to, a very common thing that is down here in Bolivia, it's probably becoming less common now, but something that's very, very common is, okay, these are my family members and or the people of my barrio, and so we're all going to enter into a handshake deal of everyone's going to put in 100 Bs a week or a month or whatever. And each week it's going to cycle through. One person gets that money to be able to make purchases or maybe save up for investments. I can't remember exactly at this moment. Because Bolivians and Mexicans have different name for it. But it's just a Latino thing.
So, yeah, it's just Latin American.
If in the U.S., imagine, with your neighbors, you were like, hey, listen, I'm going to give you $100, right?
Never seen that again.
In a month, you're going to give me $100. Good? No.
Everyone in the U.S. would just see it as like, oh, that's pointless. Yeah. Right? Like, I would just have that money myself, you know? Either the American standpoint from it, my immediate reaction is like, one, why would you trust someone with your money that they're going to give it back to you on a rotating basis? And two, like, that just seems, from an American standpoint, this isn't what I think about it, from, like, it just seems stupid. To be like, oh, we're all going to share this money, like, but if I have it now, why won't I just save it myself? Yeah. And like, I'll give myself that money later, you know? It's
the idea of like, it's the idea of we can do it together in Latino communities where it's like, hey, listen, I understand that like every once in a while you need more money than you actually have.
Right, like an influx, just for a second.
But versus in the U.S. where it's like, no, like, I don't care about your finances. Don't speak to me about your finances.
Super taboo.
Yeah, do not. I will take care of myself and you will take care of yourself. And if you can't, you're going to go get a loan from a bank.
Right.
Because that's what it is.
And it's because it's also like frowned upon to be like, oh, you need an influx of money that you don't have. Like, why didn't you budget better?
I know,
why didn't you plan better? Why don't you have savings like set up and stuff for that?
A lot of people are very aggressive in the United States about people who are in worse financial situations than them.
Yeah,
and then
huge.
that's where you see that the people who are like financially not as well off end up being more generous. Yeah. Because the people who are financially very well off are like, no, I worked hard for this. Why couldn't you work hard for this? Without realizing how much luck is playing into every situation, and obviously hard work. Hard work is always going to take, like, it's going to be 60% of everything. But 40% of that is being in the right place at the right time, which is circumstance.
It's geographical luck. It's your hereditary luck, like who your parents are. It's your connections. It's everything. Yeah. It's all of it. Like,
the audacity of some people to be like, no, I just worked hard. Right. Like, listen, I understand the concept that you have worked hard, but you didn't just work hard.
And it's like, do you think everyone else who is like struggling just doesn't work hard? Yeah. Like, it's just like, les falla. Seriously.
Getting heated in
What
here.
were we talking about before this?
Home,
Big-
family, there's a motorcycle
Big,
going,
loud
guy.
motorcycle.
Frustrating. But we were talking about like customs. We were talking about shoes a little bit. I feel like shoes is a big one. And then maybe we can talk about food just for a second before your
Yeah.
learning segment.
Oh, I had another thing.
Oh,
Can
yeah,
I say it before I forget?
Yeah.
Okay. The other thing I was thinking about, I talked to one of my students, she lived in the U.S. for like 20 years. And so she raised her kids there and stuff. And she lives here again, but she's Bolivian. And she was telling me, she said for her, she loved the organized structure of like, if you invite people over to your house, like let's say a party. You say the party starts at 6 and it ends at 10. There's an ending time
Yeah.
on the invitation. Or like you tell people like, we're going to do this from this time to this time. And unless you're like, you know, young and you're planning on doing something all night, it's not really, and by young in the US I mean like under 25.
Yeah.
Because in the US you're over the hill at 25. There's like an expected time when you leave, right? Maybe it starts getting dark or a couple hours after you get there. Here, if someone comes over to your house or if you go over to someone else's house, how long do you stay there? Like if you're close friends.
Depends. Depends. Honestly, until there's something else I have to do.
Right? Like people, like, again, I think of the Marcelo thing. They're like having fun, like a family gathering until like 3 a.m.
Oh my gosh. Can you imagine like trying to like hang out with, and this isn't because our families are bad. Our families are very cool families. Yeah. But the situation of like, you're going to be here till when? It's 10 o'clock.
I need you to get out.
I need you to go home.
And I think like, it would be a really interesting social experiment in the US to like, you go over to someone's house and you stay there like, and see when they ask you to leave.
Yeah.
Because they would eventually do it, right?
Yeah.
They would be like, hey, I'm getting kind of tired. I think I should go to bed. And you'd be like, oh yeah, me too. But you know, let's hang out a little longer. It'd be such an interesting social experiment, right? Because here, I feel like it's really normal. Like, as a host, you're gonna hang out until your guests leave, and you're okay with that. Like, you're just chilling.
Yeah.
But I feel like in the US, you're like, I have a preset time in my head, even if I don't tell you. I have a preset time in my head when I want you gone.
100%.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like when we invited people over to our house, either I had the idea in mind that like, okay, they're staying the night, or it was like maybe 11, you guys gotta get out of here, you know?
Yeah, there's such interesting factors with that because obviously people here in Bolivia, you just know that people here do things for longer periods of time.
Yeah, they eat for longer periods of time. What else do they do for longer periods of time?
Everything is just a little bit slower.
They walk a little bit slower.
Right? And so in the United States, I think a lot of that obviously comes from pressure, systematic pressure.
The capitalism, like rush, hurry.
You always need to be doing something else. You need to be making more money. There's something more important to do.
Right.
Time is money, Versus here where it's, you know, family is money, experiences is money. Everything is like what's important
Right.
is things that are more tangible. And I think a lot of that could come down to ending it with like the home topic is in the United States. If we were in the US and we were like, hey, just asked 100 random people, where's home? They will tell you where they live.
Right, their house.
Yep.
Right?
That's home.
Like you have a very few specific people who really feel close to like their city, right?
Yeah.
They're like, I'm from Chicago. Chicago's home. Like that's my city.
Yeah.
But I feel like the vast majority of people are gonna tell you like, oh, my house, it's right here. You know.
Yep. And because home and house are interchangeable in English. Go home.
In the language.
Yeah, go home.
Yeah.
That means go to your house.
Go to your house.
Versus if I say, vete a tu hogar, my home.
My home. Like what?
Right?
It's like so like.
Like, where is my home? And if you
Right.
ask people, where is your hogar? Where is your home? They'd be like, oh, my family is my home.
Yeah.
You know, or like, oh, my people are from like this specific pueblo, and that's where my family
That's my
is from.
home.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
my home, right? But then,
Or they'll be like, Bolivia is my home. Like it's mi patria, right?
Or if you're like, hey, go to your house. I'll go
My
to my
house, right?
right?
That's so interesting because you do say like, vete a casa.
Yeah,
right?
you don't
go,
say vete, yeah.
Go to house, right? But in the U.S., unless you're talking about like that's her house, like a physical building, the concept home and house are really interchangeable, right? Oh, I got sick, so I went home, right?
Because you're not talking about your emotional home. You're talking about your physical home, which is also your emotional home.
Right.
People, like, you're right. There are some people who are like, oh yeah, I'm from Denver, but I moved out here.
Right.
But then it's like, okay, if that's actually your home, why are you not there? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I mean, like we said, there are some people who are so like, I'm from Philly or something, and they're like, that's my home, that's my city or whatever. And I feel like a very, like, when you think about like people who are
Go
from
Birds.
Montana specifically, go what?
No.
Do you like Philadelphia?
Nah.
Since when?
It's just Go Birds.
Oh, okay.
Anyway.
If you think about like people from Montana, Montanans love Montana.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, I'm from Montana. Everyone else can leave because I like it here, right? Well, we can get into that a different time. I think that's really interesting.
Yeah, you're gonna have to do your
We don't have
learning
much
segment
time.
in like 2 minutes.
Quick. But people that are like, Montana's my home. But if you say like your home, they'll still say a physical building.
Of course.
Their house, their place of residence, right? Okay, we don't have much time. Let's do Lauren's learning segment.
What do you have for us?
So, this one is kind of zany, but I have a couple interesting phrases for like when you have ideas, right? So the first one, which I think is one of the most common.
I can't believe that's the first one that you chose.
Why?
Because there's an immediate, like, oh, I have an idea word. Anyway, do this first
What's your
one.
idea word?
Light bulb.
I didn't even think about that.
Are you serious? It's not written
It's
down?
not on here.
All right, Rocky's learning segment. Light bulb. That's it.
Oh, that's all.
Yes, because light bulb can be the thing, or it can be this concept. I don't know if it's a verb. What would that be?
It's a noun.
No, if I said light bulb.
That's like an exclamation.
Yeah. An exclamation. If I exclaim light bulb, that means I just got a great idea.
Yeah. And like in the cartoons, you see someone is like thinking and then bing, like it lights up above their head. But I feel like people don't say that a lot.
I
Like,
say it constantly.
I've never heard you say light bulb to refer to an idea.
Then you're not listening.
Okay. So this next one is brainstorm. Brainstorm. What does brainstorm mean, Rocky?
Tormenta de cerebro.
Yeah. Lluvia de ideas.
Yep.
Yes. So literally it's just we could say like, okay, let's sit down and brainstorm ideas for next podcast, right? And so we're talking about it and there's just rain of ideas.
It's a constant flow of ideas coming from your brain or
Yeah.
multiple people's brains.
Exactly. And one thing I thought was interesting while I was looking at these is consistently we kind of see this idea this concept that ideas are like something that's in the air, right? So this next one is spitball, which is kind of funny because I think about like with a straw, like a spitball.
Yeah, I wonder why we call it spitball.
I have no idea, but spitball is kind of like, I wouldn't consider it as like thinking about specific ideas, but maybe you're trying to, so I said this the other day. I was like, hear me out. This is just a concept. I'm just spitballing, right? As in something is not serious. It's not like a real, fully fleshed out topic or something that's really certain or set in stone yet. It's just something that's kind of ephemeral. I'm just spitballing. Bear with me. Right?
What?
Why do we call it that?
That's insane. Okay, so spitballing is just throwing out random ideas, right? That's what you were
To see
saying.
what sticks.
Yes, to see what sticks. So this is the idea that you're just constantly throwing things, and maybe one of those things will be good. Spitballs sometimes hit and fall off, and
Right.
sometimes they stick to a thing.
Exactly.
It can also be led back to the 1900s American baseball, where pitchers applied saliva to a ball to make its movement more unpredictable and
it's
hard to
illegal.
hit. So fast and experimental.
Oh my gosh, I had no idea why we call it that.
No.
So,
Spitball.
Spitball. So yeah, we're just spitballing. As in like, I'm just throwing ideas out there.
It's fast, it's unpredictable, and something will stick.
Which is the next thing I want to get to, is the concept of bouncing or throwing ideas. Which, it's so interesting that all of our like metaphorical language talking about ideas has them as things that are in the air. Isn't that funny?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is funny.
So this next one is two that are kind of connected. Bounce an idea off something, right? So think about like a ball. You bounce it and it comes back, right? Normally, like, hey, can I bounce some ideas off you?
Which means you want to know my opinion.
Yes.
Right?
So I want to throw it to you. You throw it back to me with something different.
Yep.
Maybe it's changed, and so we throw it back and forth.
Exactly.
Right? Another one is just throwing ideas around, right? This could be from person to person or just like a group of people,
Yeah.
right? We also have the phrase just throwing this out there.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I'm just throwing this out there. It'd be cool if we did, I don't know, a sports podcast, right? I'm just throwing this out
Sports
there.
podcast.
I was just thinking of an
Alright.
example. And so you kind of just, it's literally lanzando. You're just throwing ideas or you're bouncing them around. So it has them all in a bunch of movement and in the air, which I think is so creative and so funny. And then this next one, this is my very last one, is a sounding board. Now,
I've never actually heard people use this.
Have you not?
But I bet people do. It's just I personally, like, I don't hear this one very often.
Yeah. So the concept of a sounding board is a little bit different from the other ones, but it's kind of just like someone who you can vent to or tell your ideas, and they'll go, okay, and kind of give you a little bit of feedback. It's not necessarily like brainstorming or bouncing ideas where it's like, yes, oh, this idea, that, right? It's more one-sided, and that other person will kind of like give support. You know what I mean?
I almost think of it as like an actual sound board, which in modern day means like those little boards with the buttons that you can press and it kind of just makes one singular noise.
Right.
And so if like, hey, can you be a soundboard for me? Right? Saying that means like, hey, I'm going to give you this idea. I don't want you to like dive into it. I just want you to tell me your immediate thoughts.
Yeah.
Give me a one-word answer to it, right? So it's just like, yeah, or like, nah, you know?
That was a great, yeah, I love that. That was a good impression.
Thanks.
Yeah, so these are some things we use for talking about ideas. I use brainstorm a lot because I tell my students, like, brainstorm some ideas for this project. So, yeah, that's all I got there. Now, we have the student, what's it called?
Student submission box.
Student submission box.
Is kind of what I have going for it.
Okay, let's see. What does this say? Oh, there are two parts of this. Okay.
What?
It would be interesting, considering Rocky's Mexican roots, if he can...
We've already done that one before.
Have we?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Give me a different one.
Well, did you read the back of it?
The back of it said do a Halloween one,
Oh.
but it's past Halloween.
Well, that's fine. We'll end it right here. So, the Halloween podcast, we have done it before. We talked about kind of a little bit where it came from, what the history of it was. My sister was on that podcast, one of the other teachers, Addison. And so if you want to watch that, feel free to go ahead and watch that. Since we kind of had a repeat/not repeat of this, just some general advice. So we're heading into... we're already a third of the way through 2026,
Wow.
which is crazy. But
No, a fourth of the way.
yeah, a fourth. We're in April.
3
It'll
months,
be
a
a
fourth
third.
of the way, huh?
Yeah, so we're a fourth of the way through 2026. What this means for Tower of Babel is that we have a lot of students who are now starting to graduate out of our classes, which is crazy.
Yeah.
So, the people who have graduated out, thank you guys. If you guys are listening, thank you for listening to the podcast. If you guys want to let your friends know about Tower of Babel, if they need English classes, obviously recommend.
Yeah.
And then also, if they don't have the money to pay for the classes, send them the podcast.
Yeah.
Each bit of listening helps a considerable amount because this gets you into a much more conversational pace of speaking rather than anything else.
Yeah, as much immersion as possible as you can get is always super helpful, especially if it's in a more casual, kind of lighthearted way. Because I think I know you can relate, and I can relate too. You hear ¿Dónde está la biblioteca?
Yeah.
In the audios, which is fine because it's helping you with grammar, but then you actually talk to a real person. You're like, whoa, I don't know what you're saying.
Yeah, different
Right?
accents.
Yeah, crazy. So
All right.
that's all we have for today's episode. So
Stay
immerse
immersed.
yourself.